Holiday Project 12 Stories, One Album. I'm so excited to bring this class to you. This video is sort of a getting ready video. So I'm going to share a little bit of information about the class, as well as some of the materials that I'll be using for this project and a little bit of the framework behind the class. If you have already signed up, thank you so much for taking advantage of that. I can't wait to work with you. If you're kind of on the fence or you're still thinking about it, hopefully this will inspire you to sign up. The class is just $20 until November 7th. You can get it at the pre-registration rate. And then after November 7th, the class will go to $25, which is the regular price. Now, if you watched the promo video, I talked a lot about how I have been wanting to document my holiday stories in a different way for a very long time. And this class was really created from feedback that I got from you, my subscribers and my viewers, who have tried maybe doing a holiday project in the past or a different style of a holiday project, and it maybe didn't work for you, or maybe things got a little bit repetitive in the storytelling, or maybe the design of your scrapbook, or maybe you're just looking for something different. So I created the holiday project to address that. Now, this class is mainly focused on robust storytelling. So everything after that is secondary. So the type of album you use or the materials that you use, while all of that is fun, is totally secondary to the fact that we're focusing on just 12 stories. That is the commitment. That's all you have to do, is just 12 stories. So here's how this works. You will develop the conceptual framework through the class, and in the class will have 4 weeks of instruction. Each week I'll have new content loaded on Monday. So when you purchase the class, when you get up starting on November 7th, and each week thereafter until the end of November, you will have a fresh new week of content. Now, we're going to engage and share what we learn and what we're working on in the exclusive Facebook group. So make sure if you purchase the class that you also go ahead and request that I add you to the Facebook group. And that information is already loaded in the class with the introductory information. Now, with this being a 4-week class, it's also self-paced. So say, for instance, you decide to purchase the class and you can't take it, or you just don't have much time, it's going to be there for you. You can join the Facebook group, hop in at any time when you're taking the class. That's no problem. But I hope that you spend the next 4 weeks with me, because I think it'll be very fruitful and sort of turning the ship in your holiday documenting. Let's talk a little bit about the content in the course. So starting November 7th in week 1, we're going to talk about the story. Now, I purposely have us start with the storytelling because, of course, this is the holiday project, 12 stories, 1 album, right? And that is going to be the meat and potatoes of this course. So we want to set that conceptual framework for how we are going to address the documenting in this project. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to establish a theme. And I'll talk to you about different ideas of themes for your album. Now, for me, for this project, I'm going to do a theme all about stories from my childhood. And I'll talk specifically about that in the class, how I plan to approach it, and some of the stories that I plan to tell in this project. And of course, you'll see those process videos here on the YouTube channel. We're also going to review some of the story prompts that I provide you, and there's 30 of them, and how you can use them in developing your stories. And then we're going to do a little bit of pre-writing or outlining. Now, I'm going to pull from my graduate school days, and the best advice that I ever received from a college professor was take some time to outline before you write your first draft. And I think sometimes for scrapbookers, where we get caught up at, we want that first draft to be perfect, right? When we're sitting down and we're journaling and we're like, oh, what are we going to say? We want the perfect words to flow out from our head into our pen. And sometimes taking just a few minutes to sort of pre-write helps us through that process. And this is something that I've adopted in my scrapbooking for many years, particularly when I'm doing a lot of robust storytelling. And we're going to be doing a lot of robust storytelling in this class. So I'm going to walk you through a process of how you can begin to pre-write or outline your stories before you actually write your story. In week 2, we're going to spend some time talking about the album itself. So what type of album do you want to use for this project? I'm going to underscore greatly that you select an album and materials that you are completely comfortable in using, because you don't want to be in a situation where you're using something you don't like because you may not finish the project, right? And we want to be able to finish this project. It's only 12 stories, right? We're not trying to make a big deal out of it. So I'm going to talk about different album styles, how to organize your supplies, tips for keeping your supplies handy so that you use them, and cutting down on the time that it takes to actually make product selections and start doing your layouts and documenting your stories. In week 3, we're going to talk about the commitment. And what typically happens is we get really, really excited about holiday projects, right? We sign up for the classes, or we buy all the holiday things, and then come mid-December, we crash and burn, and maybe that project just gets pushed to the back burner. It happens to all of us. It happened to me. I will definitely raise my hand on this one. So in week 3, the commitment, we're going to talk about developing a realistic plan to help you complete this project. We'll talk about timelines and setting goals. Nothing that's overly complicated, but certainly things that'll help guide you as you're getting this project together. And then in week 4, we're going to talk about the process. So how to develop a creative flow process that will help you complete this project. And then we'll get ready to actually start doing the project starting December 1st. Now, some of you may choose to go ahead and start getting your album together if you want to, or start documenting stories, or you may wait until December to start this project. And that's what we're going to be doing in a nutshell. Now, it's very important that you go ahead. I'm just going to go ahead and take it from you. I'm going to take the stress off your plate. I'm going to take the worry off your plate. It's only 12 stories, and we want to keep that into perspective. But it's going to be 12 really great stories that you will document. And at the end of this, you will have a complete album with beautiful layouts designed in the way that you like. But more importantly, you'll have these 12 stories that you finally have documented, or maybe it's the 12 recipes, or maybe 12 holiday traditions, whatever it is that you decide for your theme to be. You'll have a completed project that you feel very proud of, and to finally have these stories documented, and not to feel pressure to document something that maybe you're bored with, or that maybe you feel like you have to document because Sally Sue is documenting, right? We've all been there. This will be unique to your style and the stories that you want to tell. Now that we've talked a little bit about the content of the class, I want to share with you the album and the materials that I'm going to use, and some of my recommendations as you're getting ready to pull some things together for your album. The first thing is look at your stash. I'm a big believer in pulling from my stash for projects before I ever buy anything. As you're looking through your stash, determine if you need to buy anything new, or if there's some non-themed holiday items that you can use for this project. So what I'm going to show you is sort of a mixture of things that I did for my last year's project and stuff that I've had for like 2 or 3 years now. I also ordered some stuff that should be coming in the mail soon, and when it does, I will share that with you and I'll add it to my kit. Next, speaking of kits, create a kit for this project, right? You can simply just get a plastic bag or an iris container. I'm going to show you my iris container in a minute. And put all the things that you want to use in this project into one container, and then decide where in your space, this is number 3, where you want to keep it. My motto is out of sight, out of mind. So if you tuck it away somewhere, then you're not probably inclined to work on that project because you have to dig all that stuff out, right? I'm going to keep my iris case right here on my desk. I have a little bitty L-shaped desk, or I made an L-shaped desk rather, but I have some space here that I can keep my kit. So when I'm sitting down in December and I'm working on this project, it's there. I don't have to dig for it or anything. It's all there. And for my last tip, you might want to think about how you want to structure your album. Now, I am a game time decision making type of person, so I won't go through and set up my album before the project because I don't know what I want to use yet. And probably my layouts are going to be reflective of the type of stories that I tell in my album. That method may very well work for you. But just having the materials organized is enough for me to keep consistent and to keep going. You might want to take the next step further and go ahead and prep your album before. Now, prepping your album may mean many things. It could be putting the page protectors in it and calling it good. It could be maybe prepping some of your pages first so that you don't have to do that on the back end. Or maybe not. Maybe just slip in papers that you want to use and then kind of tuck the embellishments in a pocket protector. So when you get to that particular layout, you have all the things already in your album. You don't have to dig for it. So decide if you want to sort of prep your album beforehand. For me, as I mentioned, that's not something that I'm going to be doing, but it might be something that'll work for you. All right, so let's take a look at the materials that I plan to use for this project. All right, so let me show you what I'm going to be using for this project. I have a bunch of stuff that I have left over from my 2015 December Daily and Scraptastic kits, and I wanted to be able to use these materials. Now, this album was, let's see, I think a part of my Scraptastic kit, yes, and it's just a solid, beautiful, sort of turquoisey blue album. It's a leather-bound album, faux leather. And instead of going out and buying a totally different album, I just decided to use this album. It's a 6x8 album. I'm perfectly comfortable with this size. Now, in this class, I'm going to talk about other sizes of albums that you can consider. And one of the things I'm going to stress and underscore in this course is that I don't want you to get caught up in the album size or what materials are you going to use. You want to pick out things that you're going to be very comfortable in using, because remember, the focus is on telling those 12 stories this year, right? That's what we're focusing on. And everything else is secondary to that. So this is the album that I'm going to use. I'll talk about other album sizes in the class. Now let's take a look at some of the goodies that I have. Now, in addition to this, I do have some other things that I've ordered. Now, initially I wasn't going to buy anything, but I decided that I needed something to sort of round out the remaining bits and pieces that I have from previous kits. Now, I'm using an iris container to store my materials in. So I do recommend whatever project that you're working on, whether it's a Christmas album or a Thanksgiving album or, you know, whatever themed album that you're working on, find a space on your desk or a container or something to keep all of the materials that you plan to use for that project in one space. This will help facilitate the flow of you getting your project done. Inside the iris container, I have an insert. Now this insert I don't believe is being sold anymore. I purchased this iris container insert at Michael's. I think you can find it on Amazon, although it's probably very pricey. The last time I checked, it was like $16 for one of these inserts. If you know of a place to get these cheaper, please post a link below. We would all love to know, because I know people ask me about this a lot. So in this tray, of course it just lifts up and I have some materials here below. I have some remaining items from my 2014, 2015, there's some December Daily, some scrapbook or Scraptastic kits, and there's some other things that I've picked up from Hobby Lobby and Michael's or just ordered online. So I have some chipboard letters and numbers. I also have just a couple of tear parts, some sequin, some, let's see, what are these? Some vellum numbers. I also have a bunch of 3x4 journaling cards, as well as some 4x6 journaling cards. And next I have a stamp, and this is a holiday stamp, and it has just traditional holiday sayings like happy holidays or holiday tradition, warm wishes, that type of thing. I also have a few tags, some that I pulled from my stash that I've had for a very, very long time. These are actually from an old Scrapbook Circle Christmas kit many years ago. And then I have these tags that are left over from my December Daily kit from 2015. I also have an assortment of acrylic snowflakes. These were from the 2015 Allie Edwards kit, and then I got these from Scraptastic. I also have a roll of washi tape, and I'll probably add some more washi tape to that as I go along. I have some fibers, so I got this ribbon, I believe from either Michael's or Hobby Lobby. And I also have this remaining piece from, I want to say this was a not Scraptastic. Maybe this is Scrapbook Circle, I can't remember, but I've had this for at least 3 years, just hanging out, so maybe I will get this all used up in my holiday project album. I also have a little area here for clips. Now I purchased these cute little white and red striped clips, I want to say from Hobby Lobby, and I have a whole bunch of them, and I love using those. I also have these little tiny clothespin clips that I've just had around for a while. A few little metal pieces for embellishments, and I've had this maybe for 4 years, and I probably need to use these up. I have an assortment of wood veneer. Now I think I'm going to go through this and pull out some things that I just have not used, but some of this is probably about 2 or 3 years old. Some of it came with my Scraptastic kit from last year. Then I have just a few tiny little vellum pieces. This is left over from my Scraptastic holiday kit as well. Those are really cute. Maybe I'll get those used up this year in my project. And then in this little section here, I have some flair. I also have some of these foam glitter phrases. It says Twinkle, and this one says Merry. A couple little clips, little pieces of wood veneer, just some little odds and ends there. Now in the bottom section, I have an ephemera pack, and this is from the Kim Watson Wish Seasons collection. From Fancy Pants, and this came out last year. And here are some of the icons that came with this die cut set. So you get some presents and houses and phrases like ho 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 and snowflakes and labels and such. And as you can tell, I barely used this little ephemera pack. I also had this little pack. This is called Christmas Wishes, and this was from Pink Fresh Studio for 2015. And here are some of the icons that came in that little pack there. And I really love this because it has black accents. I also have some leftover December Daily, these aren't acrylic, what is this called? I can't even remember what this is called. Anyway, some little phrases. I also have a Scraptastic stamp set. And that was designed by Caitlin Schaefer. Then I have these rubber charms from the Christmas Wishes collection by Pink Fresh Studio. An exclusive stencil from Scraptastic. And then, let's see, I have these Wish Seasons Sentiment Puffy stickers. These were designed by Kim Watson as well. I have a whole bunch of these left over, so maybe I can get some of these used up. And if I don't, then I'm just going to pass them along. I have a few exclusive Scraptastic, let's see, these are stickers. So these are labels and then some tabs. And then I also have a few of my 12 by 12 papers left over from the Scraptastic kit. So here's one by Pink Fresh Studio from their Christmas Wishes collection. This is one of my favorites, and I didn't use it last year, so I'll probably use it this year in some way. So whether I use it in an album or if I just make a separate Christmas page, I'm not quite sure what I'll do with that yet, but I'll figure it out. Here's a stripe, beautiful stripe paper. This is from the Wish Seasons collection by Kim Watson, and it's called Hopeful. And on the back, you have this really cool design. And then this one is from Seven Paper by Studio Calico. So on this side, you get this really cool sort of, I guess these are tree trunks, like a cross section of tree trunks. Or maybe that's firewood that's chopped up. And then on the back, I've got this really cool sort of brick wall design. And then lastly, I've got this red pattern paper, and it looks like little twinkle stars. At least that's what it looks like to me. And then on the back are these blocked numbers. And this is a Scraptastic exclusive paper, and it was designed by Caitlin Schaefer. I have a couple of pieces of solid cardstock that's left over that I might try to use in my album. And then usually, if I have some scrap pieces of paper left over, then I'll put them in one of these little plastic bags that I get with my kits. And that's just some various pattern papers and such that I had left over. Okay, so that was a sneak peek at some of the goodies that I am going to be using for this particular project, and I'll go in a little bit more detail about this in the class, as well as how I plan to work with this album. And I'll give you some really good tips and tricks on keeping things simple as you're working through and documenting these 12 stories for this project. All right, so that's basically what I'm going to be using for this project. Now, I do have some other things that are coming in the mail, and when they do come in, then I will share that with you. Now, a few reminders. If you haven't jumped on board in this class, I really hope you join us. This is going to be a really, really fun class, very informative, and will set you up for success. This class will retail for $20 until November 7th, so go ahead and lock it in now for that $20 rate. After November 7th, the class will retail for $25, so go ahead and get it at the lower price now. You can sign up for the class anytime the content's going to be there, even though it is a 4-week class. Now, for those of you who have already purchased the class, make sure that you send a request for the Facebook group to be added to the Facebook group, the exclusive Facebook group, and that information's already loaded in the class site, so make sure that you check that out. We're going to have so much fun in this class. We're going to keep things simple. We are going to focus on really good, robust storytelling, and you at the end of this project will have a complete album of awesome stories that you will have for years to come. So I hope you join me in this journey. If you haven't already purchased this class, what are you waiting for? Check out victoria-marie.thinkific.com or head over to the Victoria Marie blog for more information and to purchase the course. I look forward to seeing you in the classroom.